just feels really swollen, which is maybe I have like a glute implant or something. You're pinching a penny between your butt cheeks, and it feels so good to never skip leg day. What's up, everybody? I hope you're as excited as Milo clearly is that today is leg day. So we are going to go through breaking down our hamstrings, our quads, our calves intentionally with this day one of our bodybuilding program from IBEX Training. I love this because it's gonna isolate your legs and give you an awesome pump in your lower body that's gonna leave you feeling like you worked hard and sore for a couple of days. I also love it because it's outside of a Metcon. So we're not doing this for time, we're doing everything for quality and to build strength outside of those heavier lifts. So yes, back squatting builds strength. Yes, deadlifting builds strength, but we also need to be doing these accessory pieces to go along with that and to keep ourselves healthy. So that is what we're gonna do today, and that is why Milo is so excited. Okay, first exercise is going to be a close stance goblet squat. So I'm gonna hit 5 sets of 10 at a moderate weight. If I start to feel really good, then I will increase in weight as we go. I'm actually starting with a dumbbell because I have a 70 or 88 pound kettlebell and I'm not quite ready to use one of those. So I'm gonna start with a 25 pound dumbbell for my first set of 10. So close stance, what does that exactly mean? So my typical squat stance is actually a little bit wide in comparison to a lot of people. I squat a little bit outside of my shoulder width, and I'm more posterior dominant, which means I tend to not be as quad dominant when I squat. I feel my hamstrings, I feel my glutes a lot. This is gonna take out the hamstrings and glutes, and it's really gonna work the quads. So I'm gonna come in about 1 step each way for my close stance. So just a little bit more narrow than what your normal squat stance is. If you're struggling with mobility, we can come onto a plate into our close stance and we can elevate our heels. So sitting down, trying to get the full range of motion, or just as low as we can without our chest diving forward. So what that's gonna look like is you can hold the dumbbell right at your chest. I'm gonna find my normal squat stance, bring my feet in just about 1 step, and I'm gonna hit my sets of 10, nice and controlled. Focusing on keeping my heels driving through the floor, my midline engaged. Ooh, it feels so different. Sitting down and back. I think it's super important on these, so for your 5 sets of 10, to remember that it's a close stance for you. So find your normal squat stance and then come in from there. Everybody's squat stances are gonna be a little bit different, but just know that we should be a little bit more narrow than where we would set up to hit a regular squat. Second exercise, we are gonna do some single leg work. So some back rack Bulgarian split squats. So after you've just completed your 5 sets of 10, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 8 reps per leg with a tempo of 3 seconds down, 1 second pause, explode up. When we're exploding up, we should be thinking about driving through our heel. So the biggest thing, or the biggest cue for me that has really helped, is almost when I get into my Bulgarian split squat position, like I wanna pull my heel back towards me, sliding it against the floor. So creating that tension so I can wiggle my toes if I had to. Even though I can wiggle my toes, my full foot is still staying in contact with the floor. I'm just more towards the back of my foot. So I'm gonna unwrap my bar, I'm gonna hit 8 per leg, and then I'll rest between sets. Those burn. So 8 reps per leg is not a ton. The tempo makes it a little bit harder. And so just going with maybe, if I was doing 10 to 12 reps, I would have a little bit less weight. So challenging yourself to find where those last 2 reps are tough, but you know you can do them. You guys can hear my heart is through the roof. It's good tempo work. It's solid single leg movement, and it should really burn, not only with your lungs, but also with your legs as well. The last little tip for this movement that I have is really focus on doing all of the work with your front leg. So if you cut your squat in half, that's the leg that's out in front. So my knee should be tracking out over my second toe, just like during a squat stance. And then when I'm driving out of the hole, I don't want to be doing the work with the back leg on the bench, pushing through the bench. The back leg is just there for stability. We are trying to work the front hamstring and the front glute. You may feel a little bit of quad. If you're only feeling quad, check where the weight is in your foot. If it's towards the ball of your foot, that would be why we're starting to feel our quad a little bit, or step your foot a little bit further out in front. We don't want to be too narrow to where our knee is way out over our toes, but we want to have as close to a 90-90 position to where we can sit our shoulders over our hips straight down onto the floor when we lower down each time. After finishing our Bulgarian split squats, next we are going to go into some horizontal pushing. So horizontal pushing is a really great way to strengthen your glutes outside of squatting, and there's not going to be a ton of compression on your spine. So it just feels, it's a really good way to strengthen those glutes. So you can do this with a dumbbell. We'll just do a higher volume, or a barbell. On the plan, we have a barbell written, and this is something that I do after a lot of my heavy squat days. So what's gonna happen is if you have some sort of pad, it's really gonna help your hip bones. Just placing that pad across your hip, and then we're gonna roll our barbell. If you don't have a pad, I've used my knee sleeves, I've wrapped a sweatshirt, I've used a towel. You can get creative here, but it's just gonna take a little bit of the pressure of the barbell across your hip bone and put all of the focus into actually lifting the weights rather than that uncomfortableness. So I have my bench. I'm gonna roll my pad just over my hips, taking my barbell. Hey bud, Milo wants to play. Taking my barbell onto my hip bones. From here, we're gonna bring our knees in my heel, elbows are on the bench. So next I'm gonna take a breath, getting nice and tight, and I'm gonna lift my hips off the ground till I get the middle of my back on the bench. From here, what I wanna think about doing is lowering down, and then I'm gonna drive hard through my heels, pushing my hips to the ceiling, squeezing my butt, holding for 1 second. I'm gonna lower down, controlled, and then lift and drive. And I'm gonna do a set of 10 to 12 reps with that solid 1 second pause at the top. Whew. When you should feel that really burn straight through your glutes. If you don't, check out where you're pushing through. We should be pushing through our heels and thinking about driving our hips toward the ceiling. At the top, getting that nice good squeeze, like you're pinching a penny between your butt cheeks at the top of that lift. So just like a kettlebell swing or a deadlift, we're going from a closed hip position into an extended open hip position. And as we do that, we want to squeeze our butt. So that way we are utilizing our glutes and strengthening the muscles that we're looking to target. Okay, now that we're through the hip thrust, your glutes should be feeling really pumped. I always feel like maybe I have like a glute implant or something. Like it just feels really swollen, which is a great feeling because I know I worked the right muscle group. Next, we're gonna end with hamstrings. Hamstrings are so important. In CrossFit, a lot of times we're quad dominant. So we're gonna do 100 banded hamstring curls 4 times in as few sets as possible. I like to put a pad under my hip bones again to remind me to push my hip bones into the pad and not let my hips pop off the floor. So let's get to it. Where there's some tension on the band, and then from here I'm just gonna think about pulling my heels balanced, so each foot equally towards my butt, keeping my knees in tight, and I should feel that all through my hamstrings. I'm gonna do 100 as fast as I can 4 times. Usually I have to break somewhere around 50, and then 25 and 25. Whew. Okay, short, quick rest and right back to it. That hamstring curls paired with the hip thrusts leaves your posterior feeling non-existent. I almost feel like I'm gonna cramp, but really it's just that pump of all the blood flow in my muscles, and it feels so good. Final piece today is our calf raises. Nobody wants to have these big old legs, nice quads, beautiful hamstrings, and then have little sticks for calves. We wanna be a well-balanced lower body. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go a couple sets of 12 to 14 calf raises on the right, 12 to 14 calf raises on our left. So we are isolating each individual leg today. A lot of times when we do calf raises, we do them bilateral, but we're choosing to go unilateral so we can focus on each individual muscle group. So I have a plate on the ground. You could also use a stair. You could do these on the ground, but having a plate or being elevated is gonna allow us to get just a little bit more range of motion with the ankle and a little bit more with our calf. So I put my hands onto the wall, just about an arm's width distance from the wall. And then from here, I just had my opposite leg out in front so I could keep my body square. And then I focused on dropping my heel, which helped me feel a really nice, good stretch. And then I pushed through the ball of my foot to extend. And then I drop and then push. It doesn't need to be super fast, but it also really feels good on that full range of motion for the ankle, stretching out the calf, and then getting that nice push through. Because when we're doing double unders, we're pushing hard, using our calves a lot. Same with box jumps. So we wanna make sure we strengthen our calves and also our range of motion for our ankles. It's only gonna help us in everything we do in the gym. I hope that was super helpful today. I think it's really important to remember not every day has to be Metcon. So when I say Metcon, that's that conditioning piece where your heart rate is skyrocketing, you're sweating, you're dripping everywhere. Or not every day has to be super heavy on the barbell where you're only building to heavy singles on the back squat or pulling or pressing, whatever that is. All these little movements will help strengthen us and help keep our bodies healthy. That way we prevent injury, but we're also getting all around stronger. The other important piece I hope you guys found was that it's super important to never skip leg day. I absolutely love working legs. I love single leg work. I love feeling the burn in my hamstrings and the glutes, and I love just feeling like it makes me stronger. So if you guys aren't doing this in your exercise plan, you should definitely incorporate some of these exercises. They are super awesome. You can check out the program I did. This was our first day of bodybuilding for our lower body day. So you could check that program out, link in the bio. And if you guys have any questions or if you liked this session, please smash the like button because it helps our channel. And if there's anything else you want to see, comment below. We know the Open's coming. We know some of us are stuck at home. We would love to bring you guys any content that you're looking forward to or that you would look forward to watching. Have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.